So it is the July of 2019. It is a warm evening and I have already visited a couple of dealerships, but either they don't have the car that I have been wanting or they have been extremely expensive for my budget. So I just, after having checked out those two dealerships, I saw there was a big enterprise dealership and there were a lot of cars, and I said, why not, let's go and check out. So that's as I enter into the dealership, I am greeted by Jim, and after the exchange of pleasantries, I tell him my requirement, that I am looking for a daily driver which I can use for my daily office commute. And yeah, I am actually, it's going to be a budget of around $15,000 what I am looking for, and I wanted something which will be less than 50,000 miles on it. So Jim was pretty quick to understand my requirements. He showed me a couple of cars. I also told him I would want a car which would sit like kind of high on the ground, but and so those were kind of SUVs or crossovers for that matter, and they were pretty expensive and pretty much over my budget. Then he showed me this car and I said, okay, this looks pretty good. The exterior looks pretty good, the build quality looks solid. If you see, there is plenty of space at the rear also. One thing which I noticed was it has disc brakes at the front, and at the rear there are drum brakes, and I was okay. My requirements were, like, as I said, a daily driver and which has a solid build quality and had some basic safety features. So talking about safety, it is like, this has, I believe, 4 airbags. It gives me indication if I'm approaching someone too close while driving. So yeah, I was pretty much okay with these kind of basic features. So let's see. And one more thing, so which I wanted to know was how much boot space this thing had. So this had pretty much, this was the decent enough boot space. I don't require more than what this has to offer. So this is what you see. Okay, let's see over here. If I have some relatives who are coming, some family members coming, is there any enough space? So yeah, this is a good enough space at the rear. Okay. Only thing was, this did not have a high ground clearance, of course, because it's a sedan and it runs on this tiny 16 tires. You can see the ground clearance, it sits pretty low, and that is kind of a thing. If you are driving long distances in that car, you would feel that kind of stress in your legs, but that's okay. So yeah, so if I look over here, this is something which I asked him about the basic features, like how much horsepower. So this has, Jim told me it is 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine. This does tiny 150 horsepower-ish output, and I was like, okay, let's get into the seat and take it for a test drive. So this is how the interior looked like, and pretty much it has remained the same. So when I get into the seat over here, so now it has 47,500-ish miles on it, you can see over here, but when I bought it, it was around 34,000 miles, and in 1 year it had, like, it was driven around, like, it's a lot, right? So I was okay with it, and so I said okay, so that's it. And it's like, I just checked for the basic things. If the interior is okay, there are no scuff marks, there is no damage, and more or less after like 4 years of ownership, it has remained the same. Now I haven't put a lot of miles on it. One large reason, because of the pandemic, I did not drive a lot for those 2 years, 2020, 21, 22 also. So that's one reason I have not put a lot of miles on it. But that being said, I still have like 13,000 miles of experience in this Sentra, and it has served me well. So it's a daily driver, as I said. Front wheel drive does the job for me. So let's take it for a drive now. Okay, so this is so the engine comes to life, and when I take it, let me put on my seat belts. Okay, this is kind of a bit difficult sitting in a seat and doing this, but yeah, so this is let's take this for a drive. Okay, so let me set this is released and let's start driving. So this is how actually I bought this car, and Jim was pretty much helpful when he took us around for the drive. He explained all the basic features. In the evening later on, we kind of did the paperwork. It was late in the night. As I said, when I entered the dealership, it was like very nice, warm and sunny, but in the evening it went pretty on for like late in the night. The documentation took some time, and in the evening it was chilly. But this is at the end of that evening, I had my first daily driver, which I use it now daily for, of course, for my daily commute to work. It does a pretty good job. So let's see. Now, talking about maintenance of this car after I bought it, I have spent on tire changes. Now this doesn't like cost like an arm and a leg to change tires on legs. I think I spent close to around $450. I bought it from a Nissan dealership only. Once during cold weather, the car would not stop, and whatever I do, it would not start. So I had to call the dealership, and they had to tow it away. And I believe it was some part which had gone faulty, and after they replaced it, it is like after that it has been no problems. So if you see now, it has been a good car for me in that sense. It gives me good mileage per gallon. It is like I have recorded it at 40 also when I have been extremely lucky, but it varies in the range of between 30 and 36. So I think that's good enough, right? Now if I have to accelerate, so this is where it does not do a good job. So even on highway speeds, if you have on highway ramps, catching up to speed becomes slightly difficult, and that's okay. You manage to get into the correct lane if you push a bit hard. That's what I mean. So this is more or less what I have been experiencing with this Sentra. I'm pretty happy with it. It does the job for me, and I don't require it or use it to do any off-roading. Of course, you can't do any off-roading kind of stuff with this. And of course, I have not driven it in snow. So the front wheel drive is good enough for me. So yeah, so at the end of it, I spent some $18,000 at the dealership that day, and it has been a good, nice, economical car, and I'm pretty much happy with it. So thank you for watching this, and I will see you in my next video. All right, thank you.